All right. Ready to jump back into the world of 1403 Bohemia?
Always.
You guys have piled on the game guides for Kingdom Come, Deliverance,
Yeah.
but we're zeroing in on one in particular from Steam, actually.
Huh?
It's called, get this, Tips, Tricks, and Strategies, a KCD hint book.
Catchy.
Right. Plus, it's got amazing ratings. So
Nice.
we're going to dig through it, find those golden nuggets, and help you guys, conquer Bohemia.
That was good.
We'll try to sort through what's really useful and what might just be, fluff.
Right.
So you're ready to become a master swordsman, like a stealthy rogue, or maybe even a rich alchemist.
Let's do it.
Let's dive in. I think we should start at the beginning, I mean, how else would we do it?
Makes sense.
But I'm really curious to see what the guide suggests for those early choices because a lot of players have trouble with that, right?
Absolutely. And the guide emphasizes how important it is to focus on your speech stat from the start.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a silver tongue can really open doors that brute force just can't.
That makes sense.
Especially in this world.
Yeah, because you're not playing as, some legendary warrior, right?
Hey.
You're Henry, the blacksmith's son.
Right.
So talking your way out of trouble seems pretty fitting.
Definitely.
Now, does the guide say anything about those early game combat encounters? Because I always get destroyed in those first few fights.
It does. The guide suggests a very interesting combat tactic that it claims can win you most melee fights. Stab, retreat, repeat.
Really?
Yeah. It sounds simple, I know, but apparently using the jab or that stab attack strategically can be really powerful.
So not just button mashing.
Okay.
More like timing and precision.
Exactly.
That actually ties in really well with the whole realism thing of Kingdom Come,
Yes.
Deliverance. It's known for, that historical accuracy and the realistic combat.
Yeah.
And this strategy seems to fit right in.
It does. The combat system isn't just about hack and slash. It's about, waiting for the right moment, using your opponent's defenses against them.
Oh, very clever.
And it actually breaks down the hitbox system in the game and explains how different weapons work with different armor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, it matters what kind of armor they're wearing, and you're not just, hitting them with the biggest, strongest thing you have.
Exactly.
So that's where, the whole slashing versus piercing versus blunt damage comes in, right?
Yes. And the guide actually sums it up very nicely.
Yeah.
Slashing for cloth, piercing for chainmail, and bludgeoning for plate.
Okay, so I got to remember that. Slashing for cloth, piercing for chain, bludgeoning for plate. Got it.
Got it.
Now, I remember hearing somewhere that you should always aim for the head. Is that true? In this game, does that work?
The guide does mention that, yes. Especially if they're not wearing helmets.
Obviously.
It can be very effective.
So, archery, I always struggled with archery in Kingdom Come, Deliverance.
Yeah.
It felt clunky, I couldn't hit anything. Any tips on that?
It recommends a console command to add a reticle.
Hmm.
This can make aiming much easier and more accurate, especially for those who aren't used to the realistic archery mechanics.
I wish I'd known that. That would have been a game changer. Now, stealth. I always wanted to play stealthy, but I could never quite figure it out.
It goes into a lot of detail about that, actually.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, the stealth system.
But more than just, crouching in a bush.
Oh, way more.
Oh, what else is there?
It talks about the stats like
Yeah.
visibility,
Yeah.
conspicuousness, noise, things like that.
So you have to have the right gear to, not be seen.
Exactly. And it recommends specific items for each of those.
So it's almost like you're dressing for the occasion, but instead of a ball, it's like a silent infiltration mission.
Precisely.
I love that. Now, character building, I remember being so overwhelmed with all the stats and skills.
It can be a lot.
So what does the guide recommend for, making a good character?
It explains how each one unlocks a set of perks,
Okay.
and then it recommends specific ones for different situations.
Okay, so that's really helpful. Now let's start with the basics. Strength, agility, vitality. Those seem pretty important,
Absolutely. The guide recommends training with Captain Bernard at the Ratai fighting ring to level those up.
Oh, good old Captain Bernard.
You can even learn some combat techniques that way.
Okay, but what about, what if you don't want to fight?
Well, for vitality, you can actually just jump. Yeah, it sounds silly, but it actually contributes to your vitality.
Jumping to improve your health. That's hilarious. I love it.
And for speech, the guide recommends haggling.
Haggling.
Haggling. The more you haggle, the more persuasive you become.
Okay, so it's like practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
Just like in real life, right?
Huh.
Now, any other ways to boost those stats?
It actually mentions that you can raise your strength by picking flowers.
You kid!
Yeah, picking flowers builds up your herbalism skill, which passively boosts strength.
Wait, so picking flowers makes you stronger. I love this guide. Now, what about perks? Are there any must-have perks for each stat?
Absolutely. For strength, there are Stronghold and Tight Grip.
Okay.
Those maximize stamina in combat, which is especially important for that stab and retreat tactic we were talking about.
Oh, right.
And there are the Mule perks for carrying more loot.
Oh, I need those. I always run out of space.
Then for agility, there's Fast Striker, perfect for aggressive players who like to, overwhelm their opponents. And if you're into gambling, Lucky Throw can make you a champion at dice.
Oh, nice. So agility is good for combat and gambling. What about vitality?
The guide recommends Thick Blood, Berserk, and Revenant for boosting your survivability. They help you withstand more damage, even recover from blows that would normally kill you.
So you're basically invincible.
Almost.
Now, speech. Are there any perks that can make you a better negotiator?
Final Offer and Empathetic are great for that.
Okay.
They give you an edge in haggling and persuasion.
Perfect. Now, combat skills. What does the guide suggest for those?
It recommends training with Captain Bernard
Oh.
to level up skills like defense, warfare, sword, axe, mace, all the combat skills.
Right. Now, what about skills outside of combat?
Alchemy is a good example. It can be really profitable, and the guide reveals a clever trick. You actually get one free error when crafting potions.
A free error?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
So you can skip certain steps and still make the potion.
Oh, so you don't have to follow the recipe exactly.
Right. And if you have the trial and error perk, you get another error.
So you can just throw everything in and hope for the best.
Pretty much.
That's awesome. What about specific potions?
Marigold is good for healing, and if you're playing stealthy, Nighthawk and Padfoot are must-haves.
Awesome. This guide is really making me rethink Kingdom Come, Deliverance.
It's full of these great little tips and tricks.
Yeah, I had no idea there was so much to it.
It really makes you appreciate the depth of the game.
Definitely. And speaking of depth, this guide seems to go really deep.
Oh, yeah?
We've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah. We haven't even talked about weapons and armor, horsemanship, how to make money, or the quest guidance it gives.
I know.
There's so much more to uncover.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover.
A lot to cover.
But before we move on, I want to give a shout out to the guide's author, Hieronymus Alloy. This is an amazing resource, seriously impressive.
Totally agree.
It's clear they put so much work into this.
Definitely a testament to the dedication of the Kingdom Come Deliverance community.
For sure. And it shows that, even in this digital age, we still love sharing knowledge and helping each other out.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered a lot in this first part, from combat tactics and character building to alchemy and stealth, but there's so much more to come.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dig even deeper into Kingdom Come Deliverance. Welcome back to our deep dive into Kingdom Come Deliverance.
I'm excited to keep going with this awesome guide. There's so much to talk about.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So many strategies.
Definitely.
These little details.
And we've got a lot left to cover.
Yeah, we do.
Speaking of which, I think it's time we, gear up.
Ooh. Okay, so weapons and armor.
Exactly.
Let's do it. What does it say about picking the right gear? I always get overwhelmed with all the options.
It really emphasizes understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each weapon type.
Okay.
It points out that longswords are great for those powerful combos.
Yeah.
But you need 2 hands, so no shield.
Right, so you're trading off defense for more offense.
Exactly.
That makes sense. What about maces?
Maces are great for, breaking through enemy defenses, especially good against armor.
Okay.
And then you've got short swords, which are more of a balance between offense and defense.
So it really comes down to your playstyle, right?
Exactly.
I tend to like to be more agile, so maybe a short sword would be good for me.
It actually has specific recommendations. For long swords, it suggests the Piercer.
Okay.
It has really high stabbing damage.
Nice.
And for short swords, the Needle.
Needle. Why is it called that?
Apparently, it's surprisingly effective against heavily armored opponents.
Oh, wow. Where do you even get that?
You can pick it up in Sassaw.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Now, I always get destroyed by maces.
Yeah.
Are there any recommendations for those?
It suggests starting with the Captain's Mace, then eventually upgrading to the Bailiff's, and then the Ceremonial Mace.
Okay.
But there's this interesting detail. It mentions that the game takes weapon weight into account.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the Ceremonial Mace, even though it's statistically similar to the Bailiff's Mace, can actually be more effective because it's heavier.
So heavier hits harder, even if the stats are the same.
Exactly.
That's cool. It's like those hidden mechanics you don't realize are there.
It makes it feel more real.
Definitely. Now, what about axes?
Oh, yeah. For axes, it recommends trying out different ones to see what feels best.
Okay.
It does say that the metal-plated battle axe has the highest damage you can get in shops.
Ooh.
But there are two variants, both with the same name.
Oh, no. So you have to be careful which one you buy.
You gotta check the stats.
Okay, good to know. What about bows?
For bows, it recommends longbows over hunting bows, specifically yew-bows.
Okay.
But be careful because yew-bows have a longer draw time.
So you sacrifice speed for power.
Exactly.
Makes sense. All right. Armor time. What does the guide say about that?
Well, it's not just about wearing the heaviest stuff you can find.
It's not.
No, it's about layering and how it affects your protection and your speed.
Okay, so there's more to it than just piling on metal.
Oh, yeah. Too much armor will slow you down. You'll get tired faster, and that'll make you vulnerable in combat.
It's like trying to run a marathon in a full suit of armor.
Exactly.
What specific armor does it recommend?
For chest protection, it suggests the Nurembergian cuirass for maximum protection. And then the dyed Milanese brigandine is a good second choice.
Okay. Are those hard to get?
The dyed Milanese brigandine is available in shops.
Oh, nice.
It also mentions other tiers like Magdeburg, Meissen, and Augsburg, but they offer less protection.
So you have to choose between protection and how easy it is to find, right?
Right, and it emphasizes protecting your torso because that's where most enemies will aim.
Makes sense. Now, what about helmets? I'm always torn between protection and being able to see.
It recommends the Italian bassinet and the Grand bassinet for the most protection.
Okay.
But it acknowledges they can make it harder to see. For better visibility, it suggests the bassinet with clap visor and bassinet with protege.
Those names are a mouthful.
I know, right?
But, okay, so less protection, better visibility. Got it. But what about stealth gear? That's always intrigued me.
Oh, yes. The guide has a whole section on that. It emphasizes that true stealth means compromise.
Okay.
You have to give up some protection, maybe even some charisma, to be truly invisible.
So it's about function over fashion.
Exactly. It breaks down the stats like visibility, conspicuousness, noise, all of that.
Okay.
It even recommends taking off your jewelry and spurs to be quieter.
Wow, that's dedication. So what gear does it actually suggest?
It recommends layers, starting with a dark padded coif, a dark Saxon gambeson, and tight red hose.
Okay, so that's like the base layer.
Yeah. Then on top of that, a dark hood and a longer short dark waffenrock.
A waffenrock, what's that?
It's like a sleeveless outer garment. It just adds another layer of concealment.
Oh, okay, so you're just trying to blend in, basically.
Exactly.
Now, it mentions something about a hauberk. What's that?
That's the male shirt you wear under the waffenrock.
Okay.
Apparently finding a stealthy one can be tough. So it recommends using cloth substitutes like a green cotehardie or padded choice.
Okay. So you got to be resourceful and find workarounds.
Right.
I'm seeing a pattern here, like this game really rewards you for understanding the details.
It does. And speaking of details, let's move on to horses.
Yes. I love riding around, but I
Yeah.
never know which horse to pick or what gear to use.
Well, it says upgrading your horse's gear is just as important as getting a new horse.
Really?
Yeah. A good saddle, saddlebags, horseshoes, all that can make a big difference.
So it's not just about speed.
Nope. It's about speed, stamina, how much you can carry, all of it.
Okay, so what gear does it recommend?
For saddles, it recommends the noble saddle. It's lightweight, so it doesn't slow your horse down.
Okay.
For horseshoes, it suggests military horseshoes for a speed boost when galloping.
Okay, so those are good for, like, traveling long distances.
Exactly.
But what if you just want to look cool? Are there any upgrades for that?
It mentions the golden spurs. They give the highest charisma bonus.
Oh, fancy. Like bling for your horse.
Right.
What about armor for the horse? Is that a thing?
You can get barding, which is horse armor,
Okay.
but it can slow your horse down, so there's a trade-off there.
Another trade-off. This game is full of them.
Okay, but what about specific horses? Which ones are the best?
It highlights 3. Warhorse Jenda from Merhojed, Pegasus from Uzitz, and Albarak from Neuhof.
Those sound amazing. What makes them so special?
Each one has different strengths and weaknesses when it comes to speed, stamina, and carrying capacity. So you really got to do your research before you pick one.
Definitely. Oh, and here's a handy tip. If you decide to switch horses later on, your old one goes back to the stable where you bought it.
Oh, that's good to know. It's like they're waiting for you to come back.
Exactly.
Okay, so money. Everyone wants to know how to make money in this game.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It can be tough.
It can be a real struggle. What does the guide recommend?
Well, it offers some creative solutions, let's say.
Okay, I'm listening.
The first suggestion is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Steal everything.
Steal everything.
Well, everything that isn't nailed down, at least.
Isn't that risky?
Of course, there's risk, but it emphasizes being sneaky, using lockpicks, all that.
So basically become a master thief?
Exactly.
What do you do with all that stolen stuff?
You need to find fences. The guide mentions a few. The trader in the starting village, the miller in Rete, and some horse traders who don't ask him any questions.
So there's black market in this game.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Now, what if I don't want to steal?
There's always poaching.
Poaching.
Yeah. Especially if you're good with a bow.
That sounds fun.
It recommends hunting deer. But be careful, because if you get caught, there are consequences.
Fines.
Fines, jail time, who knows?
Oh, no. Okay, so be careful. Anything else?
Well, if you're looking for something more civilized, there's always the dice game, Farkle.
Farkle.
Yeah.
Is that a real game?
It is. And the guide points out that the NPCs aren't very good at it.
Really?
So you can actually win consistently if you practice.
So it's like you're playing against a bunch of amateurs.
Pretty much.
I like my odds. Any tips for winning?
It mentions loaded dice.
Loaded dice.
Yeah. You can find them around the world, hidden in chests, or as rewards for quests.
Oh, okay. So like a little cheat code almost.
Right.
Now, what if I want to make money by, adventuring?
Treasure hunting.
Oh, yeah.
There are treasure maps hidden everywhere.
Are they guarded?
Most of them are unguarded.
Nice.
So easy pickings if you know where to look.
I like it. What
Yeah.
about getting like super powerful gear early on? Does it say anything about that?
It actually cautions against that.
Really?
Yeah, it can make the game too easy.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's like finding a cheat code.
Exactly.
You might want to try it, but it ruins the fun.
Exactly.
Now, quests, those have to be a good way to make money, right?
Oh, yeah. Lots of them offer good rewards, both in gold and experience.
Okay. What are some of the best ones?
It highlights House of God.
Okay.
You can get around 3,000 groschen from that one,
Wow.
and you can do it without any combat.
Nice. Any other?
Next to Godliness is good for getting high-quality gear.
All right, I'm adding those to my list, but what if I want to make money with my skills, Not just by doing quests.
Crafting.
Oh, right, crafting. What's good for making money?
Herbalism is good early on. Just pick flowers and sell them.
Easy peasy.
Alchemy can be lucrative, but it takes time to learn.
Okay, but once you do...
You can make some serious money selling potions and poisons.
Ooh, like a medieval drug dealer?
Kinda.
I like it. Anything else?
It also mentions you can repair weapons at grindstones to increase their value.
Oh, that's smart.
You can actually make a business out of that.
I love all these little ways to make money. This guide is amazing.
It really is.
It's like they thought of everything.
It shows that success in this game isn't just about being good at fighting.
It's not.
No. It's about being resourceful.
Yeah.
Using your brain.
Okay, so we've covered weapons, armor, horses, and money.
We have.
But we can't forget about the quests.
Oh, yeah. That's where the real story is.
I can't wait to dive into those. Okay, we're back. Ready to finish our deep dive into this awesome Kingdom Come Deliverance guide?
I'm ready. We've covered a lot, but there's one crucial piece left.
The quests.
Yeah. The heart of the game.
The meat of the game, really.
Exactly.
So before we get into specific quests, what's the guide's overall philosophy on approaching them?
Well, it emphasizes thinking outside the quest markers.
Oh.
It reminds us that Kingdom Come. Deliverance isn't just about following a set path.
It's not.
No. It's about making choices, shaping your own story.
So it's more like you're actually living in the world, not just playing a game.
Exactly.
I like that.
And it provides a framework for doing that, starting with those main storyline quests in Act 1.
All right, let's jump in. What are some of the key quests, and what advice does the guide give?
It recommends focusing on the main quest line up to the quest on the scent. Then it suggests branching out during or after My Friend Timmy to explore the side content.
So get a good foundation first, then go off and do your own thing.
Exactly.
It makes sense. I remember feeling a bit lost when I first started. Like, where do I even go? What do I do?
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
And speaking of the beginning, let's revisit Unexpected Visit, that very first quest.
Oh, yeah.
The guide mentions those early tips we talked about, like focusing on speech and using those multiple saves in the starting village.
Right. It lets you experiment, see what works best.
Try out different personalities for Henry.
Yeah, exactly.
Be the hero or the sneaky guy, whatever you want.
And it mentions this cool trick in Unexpected Visit. You can actually steal a full set of guard armor and weapons.
Really?
Yeah. They can't arrest you because you're a guest of Tomberg.
So you can just walk out with their stuff.
Apparently. It's a way to get some good gear early on.
I gotta try that. I love those little exploits.
You too.
Now, homecoming, that's a heavy one.
It is.
Any tips for that?
It points out some unique items you can find. There's a short sword called Shard near the town bailiff's body.
Okay.
And Bianca has a unique ring.
Oh, wow.
There's even some buried treasure near the Skalitz entrance.
Buried treasure. I'm there. Is there a map for that?
It's not marked,
Yeah.
but the guide tells you the general location.
Okay, I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
It ties into something later in Ratty, so it's worth finding.
Oh, cool. Now, awakening. Things start to get real in that one.
Yeah, the guide has some good advice for that.
What does it say?
It suggests taking some time at the beginning before talking to Sir Radzig.
To do what?
Sell your loot, explore a bit, maybe do some side quests.
Okay, why?
Because once you talk to Sir Radzig, the main story kicks in, and you're on a timer for certain events.
Oh, okay. So it's like the calm before the storm.
Exactly.
Get your affairs in order before things get crazy.
Right. Oh, and remember that bow contest in Awakening?
Right.
It recommends using that console command for the reticle.
Oh, right. Good call. I totally forgot about that.
And it suggests training with Captain Bernard
Of course.
to improve your combat skills before you duel him later on.
Always a good idea to train before a fight.
Now, in keeping the peace, the guide says to pay attention to Nightingale's advice.
Why? What's so special about it?
It hints at some potential side quests.
Oh, I love side quests. They're always so interesting.
And the prey has some good loot opportunities.
What kind of loot?
It says to bring a horse,
Okay.
wear light armor,
Okay.
and bring a dagger for those stealth kills.
So you're basically going hunting.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, and make sure to loot the bodies in the camp after you deal with the boar.
Before doing what?
Before doing anything else, certain actions trigger a cutscene, and you might miss out on loot.
Oh, no. I hate missing loot. Okay, so loot first, then move on.
Exactly.
Got it. Now, what about the hunt begins?
For that one, it says to keep Captain Bernard updated on what you're doing.
Okay, so check in with your boss.
Pretty much. It makes sure things go smoothly.
Makes sense. Now, Ginger in a pickle.
Oh, that one. It says to mark Ginger's location on your map.
Why?
It'll make it way easier to find him later.
Oh, yeah. I hate wandering around aimlessly trying to find someone.
And in mysterious ways, there's a key moment.
Okay, what is it?
Take Father Godwin up on his offer to go drinking at the tavern.
Drinking with a priest? Is that really that important?
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It leads to something you don't want to miss.
Okay, I'm adding that to my list. Now, on the scent,
That one can be rough.
it can. Any tips?
You might be able to save Riki.
Save Riki. I thought he was a goner.
You can, but you got to be quick. You can catch the bandits who take him talking in the tavern, start a fight with him, and the guards will rescue him.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I never knew you could do that. Now, my friend Timmy, that ambush scene is brutal.
Yeah, it could be tough. But the guide has some strategies.
Like what?
You can try to intimidate the bandits,
Okay.
or you can tell them where Timmy is and follow them.
Okay.
Then as they're leaving, you can stealth kill them one by one.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah. Use their own plan against them.
Now, Nest of Vipers. That's where you go undercover in the bandit camp, right?
Exactly.
Any advice for that?
It gives you a few options. You can wear human gear to blend in.
Okay.
You can try to sneak in at night.
Okay.
Or you can just go in all out, swords blazing.
So there's a way for every playstyle.
Yeah.
What about preparations? Anything I should do before going in?
It says to complete as many of the sub-goals as possible.
Like what?
Poisoning the food, burning the arrow barrels, things like that.
Okay, so sabotage.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Now, Baptism of Fire, that final battle is insane.
It is.
Any tips for surviving that?
Go into the fight light. Leave your horse empty so you have room for loot.
Okay.
Let your allies engage first so you can flank and take out the stragglers.
Divide and conquer.
Exactly.
What about Runt? He's tough.
He is, but it points out that he's vain.
Vain.
Yeah, he rarely wears a helmet.
So aim for the head.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've covered the main quest, but what about side quests?
Oh, breaks those down too. Gives tips for each one.
Oh, cool. Give me some highlights. What are some of the best ones?
In Rade, there's The Good Thief, where you have to steal stuff without killing anyone.
Sounds fun.
And A Bird in the Hand, which is great for gathering belladonna.
Nice.
In Talmberg, there's House of God, which we mentioned. And At Your Service, Milady, where you're helping Lady Stephanie.
Ooh, rescuing a damsel in distress. I'm in.
In Uzitz, there's Mightier Than the Sword, where you have to make a tough choice between helping a blacksmith and upholding the law,
Ooh, that's a hard one.
and Waldensians, where you're investigating religious heretics.
Sounds intense.
In Sasso, there's a friend in need, where you're helping refugees.
Okay.
And in God's hands, where you're caring for the sick.
So it's not all about fighting and stealing.
No, there's a lot of variety in this game.
I like that. What about Ledechko?
There's Is a Friend Indeed, where you're mediating a family feud,
Okay.
and Restless Spirit, where you're helping a widow with a ghost problem.
Wow, this game has it all. And it doesn't forget about the smaller activities either,
Right at all. It mentions Beggar's Feast, Thick as Thieves, Punch Me.
Punch Me. What's that one about?
It's a fist-fighting contest in Raute,
Oh, okay.
and a woman scorned delicacies, Chumps on the River, Thick as Thieves, Wojciech, Henry the Master Huntsman, Raiders, Skin.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot. But it's great to have those little breaks from the main story.
Yeah, to just experience the world,
Exactly.
Well, I think we've covered it all. This guide is amazing. Combat, character building, gear, quests, even making money.
It really is a treasure trove of information.
And we've just scratched the surface, right?
Oh, yeah. There's so much more to discover in Kingdom Come. Deliverance.
That's what makes it so great. You can play it so many different ways and have a completely different experience each time.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it.
And that's what we hope you'll take away from this deep dive. Go out there, experiment, make the game your own.
Be the knight, the rogue, the alchemist, whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
The world of Bohemia is waiting.
All right, everyone, that's it for our deep dive into this awesome Kingdom Come Deliverance guide. Thanks for joining us.
And remember, knowledge is power. So go out there and conquer Bohemia.
Happy gaming!